This week we're going to continue talking about system design, but now we're going to add some more activities to the system design efforts. Now, just a reminder of the context. When we're creating a computerized system, we are moving from a description that is often vague and ambiguous using a high-level human language, and we move through several stages through which we try to add more specificity so that when we reach to the point that we get to the implementation part, we would have some level of confidence that the meaning or the interpretation that we chose out of the several possible interpretation of the original description are good enough or safe enough to actually implement. We've been talking about the requirements elicitation and analysis before, and now this is the stage between the detailed design and the requirement analysis stage, which is the system design stage. This is what we're talking about. Now, we mentioned the high-level activities needed for a system design stage. It starts with identifying the design goals and prioritize them. And then we start with an initial subsystem decomposition. We can use the standard styles or design patterns that are available to help us organize the subsystems. And it's almost never the case that you're gonna have the best design within the first cut. You have to iteratively review the design goals and refine your design or subsystem design based on the design goals, as we mentioned previously when we started talking about the system design, and we used that analogy from the actual architecture design or the building house architecture design. Now we're going to talk about more details that are related to the subsystems. Okay, the definition. We didn't talk about defining the design goals yet. We talked about how do we organize our classes into subsystems in general, but we didn't talk about design goals yet. All right, so now we're going to talk about the design goals and the activities related to defining the subsystems before we go to the implementation. So we're going to use a working example. So in order to do the system design, we need to go past the analysis stage or the requirements engineering stage, and then we turn the requirements requirements elicitation and analysis models, turn them into design models. All right, so we need some analysis model to work with in order to see how can we turn them into design models. For that, we're going to use this MyTrip route planning system as an example. So one of the analysis models that we have is a use case. Okay, so this is just part of a use case, the main flow of that use case that we call plan trip, and these are the steps in that main flow. So feel free to pause the video and read over these steps so that you know what kind of system we're talking about. Another use case that we have as part of the analysis models is called the execute trip. So now we have another set of steps that are related to the main flow of that use case. So that's another model that we're going to work with. And we have a data model, a simplified data model, and a glossary that defines each of the entities that we have defined here. That's also one of the analysis models that we have. And finally, the list of non-functional requirements. All right, so these are the analysis models that we collected in the requirement engineering stage, okay, for that example. And then Now we're gonna see how can we use them to turn them into design models.